All right, starting us off here in week 0. Obviously, this has been a well hyped up game. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're probably going to have a play on this game. Nebraska versus Northwestern. Obviously, it's in Dublin. Seeing the Cornhuskers around 12.5 to 13-point favorites. This total has been steamed down. I mean, this was closer in the mid 50s when this line opened. It's been steamed all the way down. I've seen 49.5 at some spots. Listen, as far as this Nebraska team, a lot of people have gone out on this limb and said, oh, I mean, Nebraska, had all these one possession losses. They played everybody close. Things are going to regress back to the mean. I'm not willing to say that yet. I mean, this is still a team with a lot of moving parts. Obviously, you bring in Mark Whipple from Pittsburgh, who's obviously a big part of Pitt's ascension offensively last year, but still his first game at Nebraska. Nebraska's also got a new quarterback in Casey Thompson. Now, I'm familiar with Casey Thompson, given that I go to Texas. I'm a diehard Texas fan, so I watch Casey Thompson a lot. I think he's an above-average quarterback. I do. I don't mind that pickup at all. He's not a game-changing guy, though. And I think he's a guy that's going to be best when he's got a lot of weapons around him. Use him in the screen game. Use him in the short to intermediate passing game. When I look at Nebraska, especially at the receiver position, nothing really jumps out to me. Now, the other thing about Nebraska, too, they were just not a very good run team last year. I mean, their best running back averaged less than 4.5 yards per carry. I know you're playing in the Big Ten, but that's not too inspiring either. And their offensive line, they lose their anchor at center. And they were just a pretty hit or miss unit a year ago. The one thing that I don't have a great feel for is Mark Whipple at Pittsburgh last year. I mean, Pittsburgh was top 10 in the country in tempo. I don't have a great feel as to how fast they're going to run. I'm assuming they are going to run pretty fast. But the one thing about this Northwestern defense, they were bad a year ago. They were really, really bad. It was just kind of a head-scratching year for Pat Fitzgerald. But let's not forget, in 2020, this was, on paper, the best defense of college football. It was a small sample size. The Big Ten didn't play a full year, but let's not forget that. And also, I mean, Pat Fitzgerald, he's been in this situation before. Back in 2019, Northwestern stunk. The next year, they were back in the Big Ten championship game. Now, that's not going to happen this year because they still got way too many questions at quarterback. I don't think they're anywhere near talented enough to do that. But I am expecting improvement from this defense. So I think a lot of people have this perception that Nebraska is just going to be able to kind of control their own destiny in this game. I just don't see that. Now, the part of this matchup I have a better feel for, and I kind of alluded to it, I think this Northwestern offense is going to have a tough time putting points up. They're obviously going to be a run-first offense. They got Evan Holback, who, for as bad as things were a year ago, still ran for 1,000 yards and was over 5 yards per carry. But this is a really tough matchup. I mean, Nebraska was a top 15 defense from an efficiency perspective in the country a year ago, and they are loaded at linebacker. I mean, Garrett Nelson, he's a black shirt now in Nebraska. He might be one of the best defensive players in the country. The simple reality is I just don't like the way that this Northwestern offense is going to match up against Nebraska. I think the Huskers are going to be able to stop the run and force Northwestern into some obvious passing situations. And listen, I said it. This quarterback situation sucks. I mean, is Ryan Helinski really going to go out there and do anything with his arm? I mean, throughout his career, 57%, 5.7 yards per attempt. I mean, that is disastrous. He is not a good quarterback. I mean, in my opinion, at some point, Fitzgerald's going to have to turn to either Brendan Sullivan or Carl Richardson. This is just not an offense that's going to be able to create explosive plays through the air. So given how Nebraska can stop the run, I think their defense is going to win them this game. The way I would play this game, listen, I'm not sold on Nebraska yet like so many other people are. Games aren't played on paper. At the end of the day, you going 3-9 has to account for something. I don't care if they were a top 25 power rated team. They're one of those teams that just kind of defied the analytics a year ago. They were 3-9 football team. So do I want to lay 13 points with them in a neutral site, first game of the year, weird environment, especially going up against a coach like Pat Fitzgerald with a proven track record? Not necessarily, but I do think their defense should dominate this matchup. With this total around 50, the line is around 13, obviously. Team totals usually don't come out closer to kickoff. So this is probably a play I'm going to have to wait to make a little bit. But if I get that Northwestern team total at anything above 17, I'm probably going to play that under. It's probably going to come in somewhere around 19. Hopefully we get that key number of 20. I just have a hard time seeing Northwestern put up points, but I do think this is going to be a more competitive game than people think. I would lean towards the full game under as well. I think the issue is I feel like all the value is lost at this point, just given how much that total has been steamed down. I do agree with that line movement, but I think the better way to play this game, at least for me, the way I see this matchup, I'm going to isolate that Northwestern offense. And if if when this team total comes out, it's at anything above 17, which given the spread and the total right now, it should be. I will most likely be on that Northwestern team total under for 1 unit. To follow along, if you want to see if I am on that play, there's 2 places to follow me. You can follow me on Twitter at Fordham Betting. I'll certainly tweet the play out once it is official. And then you can also join my Telegram group. You'll get a text whenever I release any plays. I do it every day for baseball, and I will certainly keep y'all in the loop as to what I do play for college football. So Twitter and Telegram are the best places to follow me, as well as subscribe here on YouTube. Subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts down below. It's going to be a fun start to the season. Obviously college football is back, and it feels good. So Northwestern team total under anything above 17.